unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa Somuayina and welcome to the fam. So guys, I am back with the monthly readings, with this video being all about your zodiac signs October 2020 prediction. So each zodiac sign receives its very own prediction, and for this video I would recommend that you watch your sun sign as well as your moon sign. And with this month having two full moons, one being the harvest moon and the other being the infamous blue moon, it definitely would not hurt if you watch your rising or ascendant sign as well. Just a little piece of advice from the unicorn mom. So the timestamps to each sign can be found down below in the description box as well as pinned to the comment section. So all you need to do is click the sign that you would like to watch and you will be fast forwarded to your reading. Simple, easy, and straightforward. So if you can't already tell by the intro, I'm really excited to get into your October prediction. So I will be starting off with the Aries, and to all my other lovely signs, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, all of my beautiful Aries friends of the world, and welcome to your October prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your October reading. So I'm starting off with this moon deck. We have the last quarter moon as well as the waxing gibbous one. So one thing that I can see in the last quarter moon is that October is going to make you feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude, an overwhelming sense of just being grateful and feeling as though, yes, things are looking back up. Thank you, universe, for being here guiding me and protecting me. So October seems to be starting off on a very favorable note for you, all my dear Aries. And in the waxing gibbous one, I see that you're able to attain this type of happiness and graceful mood because you're discerning between things that make sense to partake in and areas of life where you're like, no, this is not worth my time. This is not worth me worrying my pretty little head over. Yes, Aries babies, your pretty little head, because being in a very graceful and mood that just imbues a lot of gratitude makes you beautiful. Being this person that is grateful for every opportunity, for every little thing that is going well instead of focusing on the negatives, that is beautiful. That says a lot about who you are internally during the month of October. But let's move further into your reading. Next up, we have the waxing gibbous 3. So the waxing gibbous 3 is all about you setting those boundaries. And I do see that in correspondence to discernment, this has a lot to do with your fire sign energy and making decisions where decisions need to be made. And I see that decisions need to be made when it comes to setting boundaries, and you are setting those boundaries. You are drawing those lines in the sand. Hell, you are building those walls between yourself, negativity, energy vampires, protecting yourself. I'm proud of you, all my Aries babies. Next up, we have the waxing gibbous 2. So I see that despite everything going pretty well and you creating those boundaries, there is this sense of fear here. There is this sense of worry. And we're gonna move further into your reading to figure out exactly what the waxing gibbous 2 is trying to communicate. We have, 3 cards that want to speak on this topic of fear, of feeling a little bit of anxiety. And while this may be a sensation that accompanies you quite often, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So we have the voodoo in blue, we have the fairy of the highlands, as well as the lantern fairy. So one thing that I can see here in the voodoo in blue, as well as the fairy of the highlands, is the fact that telling somebody to back off, telling a person, I see that that is bringing you a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear, because you don't want to ruin the relationship or relationships, okay? If you're telling multiple people to back off and telling multiple people where your boundaries are. But I do see here in the fairy of the highlands that you're being called to understand that October is a time for you to be brave. It is a time for you to be who you need to be, sticking up for yourself, allowing for yourself to be the decision maker, and not having anybody sweet talk lock you into situations you don't want to be in, especially if that has to do with going out, leaving your house, and just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that cause even more fear and anxiety. It's not worth it. Draw the line, create those boundaries. As I can see here in the Lantern Fairy, that October comes with all of the clear solutions that you need to any issues that you're facing, to any problems that are here. So clear solutions to issues are awesome because you really know what you need to do in order to make things run more smoothly in your life. Whereas not having any solution and just kind of floating around, that can sometimes be very difficult and a lot more kind of anxiety causing than any other time where you actually know what you need to do. Because when you know what you need to do, you understand when you're just procrastinating or fearful rather than feeling like, oh my God, like I'm just floating around in no man's land and I don't even know how to continue on in life. Next up, we have the mask. So I do see here in the mask that you're going to have to pretend to a certain extent in October. I see that you're going to have to put on a mask that kind of masks your emotions. I see that in the river that just popped right out of the pile of cards for you, all my Aries. So the river stands for your emotions and things moving. There being kind of like a little bit of change when it comes to that. So I do see here you changing your tune in order to ensure that you get the best possible outcome when setting boundaries. So changing your tune by being very diplomatic with how you speak to people and how you create those boundaries in your personal life as well as in your love life possibly. Furthermore, I do see here in the mask that this is a time for you to discern between when you put on this mask and when not. Okay, so really understanding that there's nothing wrong with you putting on a mask in certain situations where it is helpful to do so, such as at a work meeting or, you know, a Zoom meeting that you're having that is work related, and when it's okay to just be yourself. Be yourself without any restrictions, without any fear of rejection. So just looking into that a little more. It's what I see coming for you in October. Next up, we have the World. All of my Aries, when we just thought that your reading couldn't get any more favorable, especially for this time of the year, the World shows up for you. And the World speaks of that grand fulfillment, of that grand feeling of, wow, life is awesome. Things are going exactly how I want them to go. So make sure that you're enjoying that. Make sure that you're celebrating all throughout October. It seems as though these very powerful celestial events that are taking place, the two full moons that are coming towards us. So one is on the 1st of October, the other is on the 30th of October, so a Halloween full moon, which is really spooky and fun. Know that I do have a love reading for October that you can watch, as well as a reading on what's happening with the full moon in October. I'll link those down below. So do know here in the World that you should just enjoy this powerful time for you instead of feeling fearful or letting fear take too much of that joy and that empowerment, okay? Fear is normal when you're confronting people or setting boundaries, but don't let it be kind of like a reoccurring theme that takes away from the World, from this happiness, from celebration and being in an awesome place in life. Next, we have the Father of Cups as well as the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords as well as the Father of Cups is a very empowering combination, all my Aries babies, okay? The Father of Cups takes charge of his emotions. The Father of Cups is this person who knows exactly what to say, when to say it, doesn't hold back, yet still remains diplomatic, clear, and professional. As I do see here in the Five of Swords, that you're cutting any types of fear ties that you may have when it comes to your emotions. You're fully accepting them, fully expressing them, fully validating yourself and your feelings, which is empowering to the degree where you become the authority in October in your friend circle, in your group of acquaintances, in your social setting, of being a good example for how to best manage emotions while still remaining professional, but not invalidating or devaluing how you feel. And it's a very fine line, especially in a professional setting or when you're dealing with a partner that doesn't know you very well, or it's a situationship. It's a fine line between being overly emotional and kind of putting up clear boundaries for the emotional bandwidth that you're willing to sacrifice, and where it just gets too personal, where it just crosses a line that you're not willing to allow anybody to cross. So all my Aries, this is the reading that I received for you for October, a very favorable one. Get ready for an awesome month, possibly the most awesome month of 2020 for you. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful Taurus friends of the world, and welcome to your October of 2020 prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into the readings. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy this reading that is targeted to your sign. So let's get into it. First and foremost, we have the lunar god, which is all about the divine masculine that you are exuding during the month of October. So divine masculine energy is energy that takes action. It is actually the energy that is opposite to Taurus energy, which is connected to the divine feminine, which is more receptive. I see here in the lunar god that you're really kind of dishing it out, that you're really kind of taking more action than you usually would. So instead of a lot of self-care days that are spent lounging, eating, doing Taurus things, you are spending a lot of time going after what it is that you want to go after and that you know you need to go after, and you've been procrastinating. But it may also have to do with the fact that we have two full moons happening in October, a very rare celestial event. One is the harvest moon on the 1st of October. The other is the blue moon on the 30th, which is Halloween, which may be just kind of supercharging you, if you will. Next up, we have the egg moon. So I see that any types of trust issues that you may have had at an earlier point in time, they're evaporating, okay? Especially as a Taurus, you may have some trust issues when it comes to relationships, when it comes to trusting other people with your heart, rightfully so. But I do see here in the egg moon that we have an increase in trust, not only in your own abilities to get things done, but other people's abilities as well. Next up, we have the waxing crescent 6. So in the waxing crescent 6, all my Taurus babies, you have a clear path laid out right before you, and this is a path that may have been present for a while. So if you've been procrastinating things, you know exactly what I mean. When you know what the path is, you know where you need to get to next, but you're kind of afraid to go there. So know here in the lunar god that this masculine energy is helping you take charge and take the necessary steps down this path to get to the next crossroads, where you can move into a fresh cycle, a new cycle with more opportunities than the one that you're currently in. So October seems to be a lot about progress and getting things done that you've been putting off for a while. But let's move further into your reading. Next up, we have the hunter moon. So in the hunter moon, we have this sense of abundance. We have this sense of things going well in the earthly realms, which is music to any Taurus's ears, okay? Music, because you get to spend more time thinking of what you're going to do for yourself in the earthly realms. You get to spend more time kind of planning what type of way you're going to pamper yourself next, okay? In which form you're going to use the earthly abundance that's coming towards you in order to create the life that you desire and also have fun. Also, a little bit of indulgence is on your mind. Next up, we have the dress of alchemy. In the dress of alchemy, I do see here a strong release of your power. So a strong release of you tapping into that Taurus energy that actually takes a lot of action, that's actually very diligent and very hardworking. And it can sometimes be difficult for that part to come out, especially when it's been dormant or when you're in a state where you have a lot of distrust, where you're not exactly sure whether it is worth putting in the work. But October is so worth it to you, all my Taurus babies. And I do see here you releasing a lot of that personal power that comes with being a Taurus, being a very hard worker when you want to be, making sure that things get done exactly how they need to get done, paying attention to the little details, and also being a very diplomatic leader, a charismatic leader that a lot of people enjoy working with. Next up, we have the storm angel. So in the storm angel, I do see here that there is this little collision that may come towards you during the month of October. This collision of beliefs, of different energies, of different styles. So in your personal life or your work life, most likely in your work life, you may be clashing with somebody where you feel as though, okay, we need to do things this way in order for the business to thrive, or in order to kind of give people the best possible service that we can. So why is this person not agreeing with me? So a little bit of this stubborn Taurus energy is what can create some friction for you during the month of October, but don't worry too much about it. I mean, it's natural for a whole month to have ups and downs and everything in between. So know that you're not the only one who struggles with any type of differences and differentiation in energy between yourself, other people, and just figuring out where that middle line lies, where you can be okay with how other people are doing work and it's not affecting your work negatively. Next up, we have the riddle. So I do see here that you're being strategic when you're trying to speak to others about how you can better work with one another. Now, as a Taurus, you know exactly what it is that you desire, and you have this way of getting it. And I see here in the riddle that you're being very smart and wise with your words, exactly how you're using them, and you're making sure that you're using all the right words in order to create harmony between you and this situation that may be a bit challenging, that may initially bring out your more stubborn side. So wrapping up a discussion that otherwise would be difficult with first complimenting the person, telling the person what they're doing well, and then moving into kind of what agitates you a little bit, kind of where you feel like your way is the better way, and then ending everything with, okay, but you know, let's work together. Let's make this awesome. So just being very strategic and making sure that you're always wrapping things in this kind of package that is positive or seems very positive to others without being deceptive though, don't get me wrong. Next up, we have the gem. So in the gem, I do see here that October brings a lot of not only earthly abundance, but also abundance for you that just makes you feel valuable, that just makes you feel like, yes, okay, self-care is this time not just an excuse to do less work. It's not just a way in which I'm trying to excuse my addiction for the finer things in life. Okay, all my Taurus babies, not trying to call you out, but instead in the gem, I do see this inherent inner power, this inner love that you have for yourself, this feeling that you are worthy of nice things. It's not just an excuse, and you're feeding into this because you know that it's truly healthy. It's not just eating a whole cake because, you know, self-care and balance, but actually knowing that you're doing the right thing by having healthy meals and doing real self-care, not just self-care that the media often tries to shove down our throats by telling us to buy more things that we don't need. Next up, we have judgment. So I do see here in judgment this very liberating feeling coming towards you. So you may have felt as though somebody is judging you or your way of life, your beliefs, and I do see here in judgment that in a way you're able to move past that. You're either able to move past those fears, or you're able to move past that situation by finding out that that person in fact did not even judge you. That person in fact may be dealing with their own things and may have all along been in a way jealous of you, because a lot of people can radiate really strange energy that you may kind of feel is them not liking you, or you may perceive as energy that is in a way confrontational, but it is not. It is actually energy that they are putting out there that shows that they wish they had a little bit more of what you have. They wish they were able to express themselves, you're expressing yourself. So instead of feeling insecure about what somebody may think, say, or feel about you, allow for those facts to speak first. Next up, we have the Hanged Man, as well as the Four of Swords. So I do see here in the Hanged Man this tendency to feel as though nothing needs to be rushed. So while you are getting things done, you're not rushing through them. You're not making reckless, stupid decisions. That is not you, all my Taurus babies, as I do see here in the Four of Swords that you're taking enough time to think things through. You're taking enough time to consider every aspect and every facet of your plans. So this is really awesome for you. you. The Hanged Man hangs upside down comfortably because he wants to hang upside down, not because he's forced to. So you're giving things time that need to be given time. Then last but not least, in the Magician, we have again the power of initiation, the power of getting things done, okay? The Magician corresponds to the number 1, and in numerology, the number 1 is the type of number that speaks of the person who goes out, takes action, and makes things happen because they want to, because they're brave enough to even be the first one to step out and do it. So I do see here in the Magician that in a way you have this energy that is magical, that can make anything happen in October, and that some people may be a little envious of, okay? So protect your energetic space in order to be able to make the most out of this, and in order to be able to use all of the advantages that life has given you in order to move forward. We've all been given one advantage or another. Some of us have been given amazing brains that allow us to solve even the most difficult of problems and challenges, while others of us are seen as really beautiful by society, which can of course help in certain situations. So you just really making use of everything that has been given to you. So October really is just about you making use of everything that you've naturally been blessed with and not feeling bad for it. Quite the contrary, knowing that everybody has something like that, and you might as well lean into everything that speaks and works in your favor. So all of my beautiful Taurus babies, I hope that you enjoyed your reading and that you found it insightful. If you did, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful little Gemini babies of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it, while all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading. And feel free to take notes. So let's move into it. First and foremost, we have the waxing crescent one, which is all about realizing things that are happening around you that otherwise you would have never even perceived, you would have never even taken note of. So I do see here in the waxing crescent one that realizations are bringing you a lot of epiphanies as well as a lot of growth, and you're finally understanding what is going on in this world on a greater level, because sometimes you can be fixated on little details, on things that make you feel as though, okay, this is exactly what I need to do and everything else doesn't matter. So that can actually cause you to not use your full potential, your full power, because you are somebody who is very headstrong and very intelligent. But I do see here that October opens up all of the possibilities, the realm of use that you can actually extend yourself into mentally. So I see a lot of mental action going on for you, long story short. Next up, we have the hot moon. The hot moon is all about, you know, physical attraction, romantic kind of heat happening. So I do want you to know here in the hot moon that it is this kind of extreme between your mind heating up, maybe even overheating a little bit because you're doing so much work mentally, and then letting off some physical steam, if you know what I mean, all my Geminis. So I do want you to know here that these extremes can cause you to be a little bit torn, can cause you to feel a little bit fatigued, because you have two such polar opposite sides of yourself being very active and very much a part of your life in October. So make sure that you keep balance and that you allow yourself to enjoy the ride rather than feel stressed out by it. Next up, we have the waning gibbous 3, which is all about balance. So it seems as though the cards are literally just kind of supporting what we have been receiving as divine messages for you. So the waning gibbous 3 is not only about balance, but also about just finding how you can create more balance in these uncertain times. So again, you're being called to think, to use that brain of yours that is often so hyperactive and that is one of the sharper ones of the zodiac sign, if you will, all my Geminis. Next up, we have the blue moon, which is really interesting as we do have 2 full moons coming towards you during the month of October. One of them is actually a blue moon, which is happening on the 30th. If you want to know more about your love life, I have a link for October's love prediction down below, as I do see here in the unexpected in correspondence to the hot moon that your love life may have some unusual unexpected things that are going on for you. So it could be a new person entering, even if you are in a relationship. It could be just your twin flame finally moving into your life. I see here in the blue moon that the unexpected is really emphasized for you, all my beautiful Geminis. So don't allow yourself to fall into just habits and patterns. Be open-minded, remain open-minded, and allowing yourself to come to realization, seeing the big picture is definitely a big help to kind of enjoying October to its fullest and allowing for the unexpected to come in. Next up, we have the comic. So take everything in a very fun and lighthearted way, which you may not have to be told twice, because as a Gemini, you do have very fresh energy, you have very youthful energy. You're not the type to kind of be boring or be mundane. You are more eclectic usually, and I do see here in the comic to just continue having fun is what you're meant to do. Continue cracking jokes, continue being the light of other people's lives. Next up, we have Agape. So I do see here in Agape, again, this connection, understanding how interconnected everything that you do really is. So for instance, the things that you choose to consume, if you choose to consume, for instance, animal products, understanding how interconnected global warming is to consuming animal products and what effect that has on deforestation. So you're finally going to realize, for instance, while you're having like a nice dinner and there are animal products on your plate, you come to this epiphany where you're like, wow, I'm sitting here at this dinner, I'm talking about how we could save the world, but I'm literally contributing in such a big way to the destruction and I didn't even notice. So these unexpected epiphanies, these realizations are going to allow you to look even more deeply into how the world works. So of course, this was just an example that I'm very familiar with. There are a million other things that you are going to be able to realize where you're going to be able to connect the dots. So I do see here just a very mind-opening and invigorating experience coming for you in October. Next up, we have the mask. So to a certain extent, you're kind of going to keep it a secret. And as a Gemini, you can be a little bit secretive at times, okay? You can kind of keep certain things to yourself that maybe other people would like to know. So I do see here in the mask that you are keeping these realizations and these epiphanies covered up and veiled until you're 100% certain that this is something that you want to share. So this is kind of like a private time for you in October, kind of a time where your private life is getting a little overhaul, if you will. So allow yourself to enjoy this, allow yourself to be the only one who has come to the knowledge of your realizations and to keep it to yourself for as long as you want. These are your thoughts. This is the work that you have put in mentally that only you are entitled to. So keep it a secret for as long as you would like to and just feel out what works for you in your life. Next up, we have the Dream Weaver as well as East. So I do see here that dreams are something that you're going to emerge from a lot, okay? So a lot is going to come from dreams. A lot of realizations are going to be put before you that you have already experienced in your subconscious realm. So it could be that you don't even remember the next morning, but you actually already dreamt what is going to happen. You actually already dreamt these connections up, and you've actually already come up with solutions to any challenges that you're going through in the dreams that you've had in the subconscious plane. So in order to really get the most out of it and to not have too many unexpected surprises pop up, it would be helpful to keep a dream journal, but of course you can also just allow for the surprises to continue rolling in. Next up, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So October is a good month for you to start a new business venture. It is a great month for you to maybe start a new subdivision of your business, if you will, and to try out new things that have to do with how you invest your time and also just in a way being as productive as you possibly can, because being busy and being productive, those are two different things. Also being effective is another thing. So I do see here in the Ace of Pentacles, you focusing more on being effective rather than just getting heaps of things done, because you understand that when you're effective It not only gives you more time, but it also gives you more of an opportunity to create financial abundance for yourself. Next up, we have the Magician. So the Magician is a card that fits really perfectly to you, all my beautiful little Geminis, and what you're going through during the month of October. I see here in the Magician that you're making decisions on your own. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need to ask anybody about what to do next. And you are initiating changes. You are the one who is going out there saying, okay, this is how it needs to go. This is what I'm going to do next. This is what I'm going to start next, whether it is in the business world, whether it is romantically with this unexpected occurrence of somebody coming into your life who is interested in you. But more about that in the love readings that are linked down below. But I do want you to know here in the Magician that this is very powerful energy where you're making use of everything that you've been blessed with, of everything that you have been so fortunate to receive. So that is not only mentally being very sharp, but maybe also physically being considered attractive, or somebody who is authoritative, leaning into that aspect of yourself and using it in order to create the life that you desire. So for instance, using your charm, your wit, the very funny side that you have to yourself, your charm, in order to have decisions be made in your favor. Of course, not in a manipulative way. If it ever moves into that, know that that is not good karma for you, but I don't need to tell you that. You understand exactly what I mean. So all my beautiful Geminis, we are at the end of your reading of your October prediction. I hope that you found it insightful and that you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section what hit home for you and what you're looking forward to the most, and I will catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful little Cancerians of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction brought to you by a fellow Cancerian. So lean back, relax, and enjoy as we receive these divine messages about your upcoming month. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, we have the first quarter moon. So I do see here, all my fellow Cancerians, that we will be assessing things, okay? You will be figuring out, is this worthy of making a choice, or is this not really something that I need to stress about? So I see you looking into figuring out exactly what is a pressing thing that needs to have a decision be made immediately, and what is not so pressing, what is not so important in your life. So decluttering, maybe something that goes along with it, which is something that is usually maybe a little bit more difficult for you to emotionally let go of things. But I do see here in October that, you know, there is no love lost. You're going to cut ties wherever you have to cut ties. Next up, we have the snow moon. So I see that this decision making is coming from a place of purity. It's coming from a place of wanting to create more space and wanting to create more time for the things that really matter and more time for the people who truly matter. So this is coming from a very actually loving place, wanting to assess situations and figure out exactly what is worthy of your time and what is kind of just clutter, to be honest. Next up, we have the Hunter moon, so abundance, which is always an awesome card to receive. I do want you to know here that while abundance is coming towards you, it can be easy to just reclutter the space. So while you've gotten rid of a lot of things, it can be very easy to just look out for the next thing to fill your space with, which I would recommend that you try to not do. You try to cease shopping, if you will, okay? Try to cease shopping for unnecessary things that in the end don't really hold a lot of value. Invest your time, your effort, your energy, and money into assessing what makes sense to spend money on and what not. So for me personally, just as an example, I really do love collecting crystals. I love collecting divination tools because I know that those are things that can last me for years and years on end, decades even, and it's not like a piece of fast fashion that was made in an unethical way and will just last for a few wears if I'm lucky. So that is where you're kind of like assessing, okay, what do I want to do and what is really worth it? But we all have weaknesses and we all fall prey to certain things every now and then. Next up, we have the flute. So in the flute, I see purity in your expression in correspondence to the snow moon. So being very clear and direct with what it is that you desire and kind of singing your own song, kind of doing your own thing, regardless of whether somebody likes it or not. And when somebody does come up to you and say, hey, why are you doing things this way? Why are you doing things a certain way? You express yourself very clearly and assertively. Next up, we have the soul retrieval. So I do see here in the soul retrieval, you finally claiming the things that are rightfully yours. So all my Cancerians, I know it can be hard to claim your independence, to claim sometimes love, to claim recognition. Meanwhile, other people are going out here claiming everything that they can put their name on, even though they didn't even work for it. But you, on the other hand, may be a little bit more humble, a little bit more kind of like a loner, if you will, and you only really do come out of your shell with your little lobster claws, with your little crab claws, to take things that you know are rightfully yours. You're not really going to be grabbing everything like an octopus. So that is where I see here in the soul retrieval that you're finally claiming and receiving the recognition and love that you deserve, the recognition that you know you've put a lot of hard work into receiving. Next up, we have the Mother of Pentacles. So this has to do with the earthly realms. This has to do with either your studies, or it could be also your job, your career, whatever it is that preoccupies you for quite a good amount of time each week. So I do want you to know here in the Mother of Pentacles that you are claiming things, but you're doing so in a smart way that doesn't make you seem like a tyrant or a bully who's just taking everything that they can, but instead you're doing so very tastefully. You're going after the things that you know you've worked for, so really all of the receipts are there, and you can rightfully walk out of the store with the things that you put the work in to be able to purchase. Literally and figuratively. Next up, we have the Mother of Swords. The Mother of Swords is somebody who is very discerning with their words, who is careful to use the right words, and always knows what to say in order to make the situation end on a beneficial note. So any relationships that have been a little rocky, I see that here during October, there is this chance of you being this figure of authority that allows for the relationship to have a chance at being repaired, and you're not going to allow anybody to push your buttons. That is so not October for you. Next up, we have the Lovers as well as the Four of Pentacles. So I do see here in the Lovers that romantic love is something that is on a high for you during the month of October. Romantic love not only sparks joy, but is something that you're engaged in quite a bit. So you may be physical with somebody, you may also just be speaking to somebody who you're romantically interested in and interested in becoming involved with. As I do see here in the Four of Pentacles that stability is what makes you feel attracted to other people. So stability could be financial stability, but also emotional stability, knowing that you can depend on that person. How Cancerian of you. So I do see here in the Four of Pentacles that that is something that concerns you, and you're able to love when you feel safe. You're able to love when you feel like this situation has a real future, a future that comes with dependability, that comes with the type of vibe that I can relax in. Next up, we have the Ocean. So strong emotions is what I see for you, as well as a lot of self-reflection. That may be because we have grand celestial events taking place. We have 2 full moons, which is very unusual for 1 month to have 2 full moons. So the first full moon is happening on October 1st, which I do have a video for that, as well as love readings. They will be linked down below. Those are all for October. And then there is a second full moon that is taking place in October, which is the blue moon, which is happening on the 30th. So mark your calendars and do know that these celestial events, especially being a Cancerian and the moon being very closely linked to you and your demeanor, these events are just having a big effect on your life as well as your feelings. So let's move into the last cards. We have the Shaman, the Flame, as well as the mask. So I do see here that any difficult emotions that are filled with a lot of excessive force, with you wanting to scream, shout, and maybe even punch someone out. Did you notice how that rhymed? I see that you're able to keep those emotions to yourself, okay? I do see that you're going to mask those and kind of try to stay out of any confrontational situations, which is most likely for the better. I do see here in the shaman that you're more focused on healing yourself. You're more focused on natural remedies and making sure that you're taking care of you, that you're not bothering too much with any energy vampires, but instead you're on your quest to becoming the highest version of yourself, and you're using a lot of natural paths, remedies, maybe even looking into becoming a natural healing practitioner and just spreading awareness when it comes to that. So all my beautiful fellow Cancerians, I truly hope that you enjoyed this reading and that it brought you a lot of insight as well as motivation. I'm sending you so much love. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello all my beautiful Leo babies, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So I'm gonna get straight into it, and all that you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading. So first and foremost, we have the blue moon, which corresponds to unexpected events taking place, which is really awesome because we have 2 full moons taking place during the month of October, which is very rare. The first one being on October 1st, the second one being on the 30th of October, which is actually the blue moon. The one happening on October 1st is the harvest moon, to which I do have a reading below, as well as a love reading for October. It is linked in the description box if you're interested in garnering a little bit more information about the month of October for you. So I do want you to know here in the blue moon that unexpected things are happening, and in the waxing gibbous 6, I do see that they have to do with action taking place, with things just turning out a lot differently than you actually expected for them to turn out. So I do see here in the waxing gibbous 6 that October is going to be a very busy month for you, all my Leos. You're going to be taking action personally, and things are going to be changing around you. There's just a lot of this fire sign energy, which you're most likely very happy to connect with, but it can also be a little bit stressful and tiring at times. Next up, we have the waning gibbous 4, which speaks of beauty as well as confidence, which is of course nothing new to you, my Leo fam. So I do want you to know here in the waning gibbous 4 that your beauty allows you to act in a different way. Your beauty, your confidence allows you to be in a space where you don't need to act out, be the loudest in the room or anything like that in order to prove yourself. You just have that silent confidence about yourself, that silent knowingness where you don't need to say it out loud. You just walk into a room and people are attracted to you, or people find you attractive. So some may be attracted to you, others may be jealous of you. But let's move further into your reading. We have the winged seer. So I do see here in the winged seer that October is going to come with a lot of clarity, given the fact that we have such grand celestial events taking place that come with a lot of powerful energies from the moon that you may not have expected. I do see that this can kind of turn on a bit of a psychic streak in you, where you feel like you can already see and sense things before they've happened, or events occur and you feel like you've already seen them. You feel like they've already happened. So your sixth sense being extremely heightened. Next up, we have the dress of alchemy. In the dress of alchemy, we have this release of power happening. And I do see here that all of this power being released, all of this action taking place is something that can be very creative, that can turn you into a very kind of bold-minded and expansive person, but it can also stress you out, okay? It can also cause some friction between you and your family members, people closest to you, a partner, okay? So be very careful that you're directing all of this expansive energy, all of this bold energy towards creative ventures, towards projects, and not towards people, okay? But let's move a little further into your reading. Next up, we have the mystic. So nevertheless, in the mystic, I do see here that these unexpected occurrences taking place are in a way very mystifying to you. You can't quite make sense of it during the month of October. So know that all of these like symbols, things happening, reoccurring themes, feeling like you've already experienced something that is happening momentarily, having having this clairvoyance, if you will. I see that it is all quite like a big mystery to you in October, and that the answers will take a little bit longer to trickle down to you. Next up, we have the Venom, as well as the Ring. So I do see here a little bit of commitment phobia, okay? A little bit of this like venom as soon as you see this commitment wanting to take place. So it may be that somebody is interested in you who you are absolutely not fond of, or there's just this situation that's trying to tie you down. This doesn't even necessarily have to mean romantically. This could also be in your job. Somebody trying to get you to do this project, to commit to this project, to this workload that you're absolutely not into, that you're not interested in. And I do see here that you're just like not even respectfully, kindly, gently declining. You're saying hell to the no, all my Leos. So be a little bit careful if you can. Be a little bit thoughtful of other people's feelings if you remember to do so, but it can be hard in the moment, especially when you feel as though you're being played or you're being kind of like treated as if you were born yesterday, when in fact that is not the case. Next up, we have the Sun. So nevertheless, with situations where you have to be a little bit direct, a little bit venomous, if you will, I do see here in the Sun that October overall is a favorable month for you. It is a month where you're celebrating with people who you care about, loved ones. So it may be somebody's birthday or anniversary, and you feel like you can finally take a little bit of downtime and time to be with those who truly matter. Last but not least, we have the Hierophant. So all my Leo babies, the Hierophant is kind of speaking to you from a place of concern as well as loving advice. If you ever feel like you've been lured into a certain group, community, it could be religious, it could just be, you know, even a business association, something like a pyramid scheme, know that you are the only one who kind of has this key here to unlock freedom again, to get yourself out of it. And if you don't believe in something that you used to believe in or that you used to agree with, it's okay for you to change your mind. The universe is sending the Hierophant into your reading to empower you to think for yourself, think critically, and act in accordance to your integrity and what does really feel right to you. So all my beautiful Leos, we are at the end of your prediction for October of 2020. I truly hope that you found it insightful as well as motivational and empowering. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I'll see you in another reading. Hello, all my beautiful Virgos of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So I'm going to move straight into it, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your psychic reading. So let's get into it, shall we? First and foremost, we have the Nectar. So one thing that I can see is that you're in a state where you're very attractive, all my little Virgos, okay? You're in a state where more people are interested in you than you being interested in other people. You may be really shy and feel like, oh, I don't really want to be around a lot of people. I don't really want to deal with a lot of people. I'd rather just focus on myself. But I do see here in the Nectar that you're kind of in a way irresistible, okay? You're kind of in a way attracting a lot of people's romantic attention. Next up, we have the Temple. So I do see here in the Temple that your body is feeling great. Your body is feeling as though, yes, thank you for taking care of me, my Virgo mommy or daddy. Your body is going to thank you for the work that you've put into it or decide to put into it in October, depending on what you want to do after you've seen this reading, and you're going to have fabulous results. So nurturing your body with all of the right foods, with exercise, is going to not only leave you feeling amazing, but it's also going to leave you feeling as though like your health is in a good spot. It's also going to have you look amazing. Next up, we have the Animal. So I do see here in the animals are really drawn to you. If you do have pets that you feel like maybe you haven't been giving as much time as you would like to, if you feel like, oh, I've kind of been neglecting my little babies, know here in the Animal that you're being called to spend an exceptional large amount of time with them, if possible, during the month of October, especially because we do have 2 full moons during the month of October, which is very rare. On the 1st of October, we have the harvest moon, and on the 30th, we have the blue moon. But I do have separate readings below for that, as well as a love reading, which is all going to be linked in the description box, so you can check that out at your convenience. But let's move further into your reading, all my beautiful Virgos. Next up, we have the Waxing Gibbous One self-reflection. So figuring out exactly what it is that you like about yourself and what you want to work on. But I do also see here, in a sense, in the Waning Gibbous One, that it is so important for you to take care of your body, to exercise, to eat right, in order to nurture your temple and feel good about yourself. Because otherwise, the Waning Gibbous One may turn very quickly into a lot of self-criticism and just being a bit of a perfectionist with your look, with your ways of being, with your personality, and just picking yourself apart, which none of us need, especially not you, okay? As a Virgo, you can be a perfectionist and somebody who likes to focus on little details that other people do not even take notice of. Next up, we have the Waning Gibbous 2. So the Waning Gibbous 2 in correspondence to the animals, in correspondence to nectar, does show me that you are enjoying a little bit of this extra attention to a certain extent. So in a way, it does feel good to know that you've still got it. And it does feel good to have your animals or potential animals, if you're looking at maybe adopting or purchasing an animal from a credible place, okay? So make sure that you always do that. I do understand adopt, not shop, but there are also a lot of great breeders out there who can't keep all the puppies themselves, so be responsible, okay? Just a little tip from a mother of 2 beautiful little dogs. It feels good to be loved. It feels good to know that sometimes you're the center of attention as well. Next up, we have the Father of Pentacles as well as Temperance. So I do see here that when it comes to decision making with your finances, you're being called to take a step back, okay? To see the big picture and not act on an impulsive note. So if you've been thinking about investing, for example, in the stock market, investing in real estate, just overall having your money make more money, making these big Father of Pentacles type of decisions, know that you're being called to take your time to do your research, as well as to not stress anything or be kind of pushed into making a decision. If somebody cannot give you enough time to think things through, then think again, because it's most likely not the best deal. And just overall, during the month of October, you're being called to be very cautious with your decisions around money, okay? Because you will regret if you spend it frivolously. Next up, we have the Hanged Man, as well as the Wheel of Fortune. So again, we have a sign of you needing to stay a little bit in a space that is more calm, that is more complacent, and to get comfortable there. Don't feel as though you taking time for yourself or you not making instant decisions means that you're wasting time, or means that things aren't moving forward in a negative sense. Do know here in the Wheel of Fortune that some things have been brought into motion that are inevitably going to come to a crash, or going to come to some sort of like climax. So it's important for you to take rest when you can. October is a month where things may feel like they're moving a little bit more slowly for you, all my Virgos, and to enjoy that, not try and fill every little space that you get, every little bit of time that you get with more chores and tasks and more ways to be productive. That isn't it. Knowing the Wheel of Fortune, that there are enough things that are coming towards you that you will be able to work on and problem solve and just pour your heart and soul into. Next up, we have the Sea Beacon Fairy. So I do see here in the Sea Beacon Fairy that to a certain degree you're receiving this psychic guidance, you're receiving this divine intervention from the universe, where you're being shown signs, different paths that you can go down, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, great, so this is an option, but where will it lead to in the long run? So I do see a little bit of overthinking happening here when it comes to your career and moving forward in life in general. And one thing that I do want you to know here is that you don't have to make decisions immediately. The Hanged Man calls for you to take time to really just allow for things to feel right before making a decision, and to be very suspicious of those situations and people who try to pressure you into making a decision knowing that you're not sure. Next up, we have the Snow Angel. The snow angel speaks of signs already being with you. So if you feel as though like, oh, I'm not 100% sure, I wish there were a few more signs to let me know whether I'm making the right choice or not, I do see here in the snow angel that those signs are already with you. If you've been thinking, oh my God, like, I don't know if this is the right relationship for me, red flags are there if it's not the right relationship. The same goes for a business opportunity. If you're not sure about it, know that if you look hard enough, if you allow yourself to really be objective, the signs, the red flags, the white flags, the green flags, whatever flags it is that you're looking for, they are there in October, okay? You're being guided. Clarity is provided as long as you allow yourself to look at it from an objective point of view rather than one where you're in your feels. So all of my beautiful Virgos, we are at the end of your October prediction, and I truly hope that you found it insightful and motivational. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I'll see you in another reading. Hello, all my beautiful Libras of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So I'm going to get straight into it, and all that you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your October prediction. So let's get right into it. We have the Emperor as well as the Tower. So I do see here that some sort of structure that has been keeping things in place is going to come to a crumbling fall, okay? It's going to come to a fall that makes you think like, oh my God, I did not expect this to happen. I thought that this was safe and secure, but it's actually not. So this may show itself in the form of somebody who was in a power position in your life losing that position or having to step down. It could be at your workplace, just overall things crumbling, falling apart that once stood very strong, tall, and in a way a little bit in an intimidating sense, were there to almost like look down on you, and you may think to yourself, huh, karma, or it may also be in a way worrying because you're asking yourself, oh my God, am I next on the chopping block? And as a Libra, you are a notorious overthinker, and this situation may stress you out a little bit, but I do see here in the Four of Pentacles that instead of stressing out about, oh my God, what could happen, what may go wrong, instead to just take action, to make sure that you're saving as much of your resources as you possibly can. So remember in the Four of Pentacles that just because you could potentially spend money doesn't mean that you should. It's better for you to keep it safe and allow yourself to feel that inner peace and security, knowing that you're doing everything that you can in order to put yourself in a spot where you won't fall victim to any type of difficult financial situation. Next up, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So in the Ten of Pentacles, I do see things going well for you on a financial note, okay? On a financial level, you have your ducks in a row. You could save a little bit more, but at the same time, you're already not doing a bad job. And I do see in the Ten of Pentacles that it's time for you to move into a new space. So if you're kind of unsure about whether your current workspace is providing you with the opportunity to grow, to evolve, I do want you to know here in the Ten of Pentacles that that is more on the side of a clear no, all of my beautiful Libras. I'm just going to be honest with you, and that you're kind of being called to move on into a new workplace before it's too late and before your current workplace maybe has to cut back, let you go in a situation where you did not expect for that change, where you did not expect for you to have to look for a new path in your career. Then we have the Hanged Man. So in the Hanged Man, I do see here that you're being called to see things from a different perspective. So allow yourself to kind of be very discerning and assertive as to what you invest your time, energy, and money into, and also what you think is security, what you perceive as security. For instance, just having one stream of income, which is the traditional route that we're taught in school very often, to just, you know, learn one thing in school and then do that thing for the rest of your life. But the issue with that is just the fact that if somebody does decide to let you go, if your boss does decide that you're not the right fit, you only have that one stream, right? And then when that dries out, it's a very chaotic and difficult situation, which I see here in the Hanged Man. You're coming to those realizations and epiphanies that the world is changing, and you better get on board with that change and create a world for yourself and security for yourself that can last and that isn't dependent on anybody else's decision or liking of you or not liking you. Next up, we have Thanatos. So in Thanatos, I do want you to know here, in a sense, that this ending, the fact that we have the Tower show up in your reading in correspondence with the Emperor, just watch and learn, okay? The Hanged Man wants you to not jump in and try to, you know, play Captain Save-A-Ho. No, okay, all of my Libras, it's important for you to stay away from any type of difficult, challenging situations that somebody else is going through. It is not your responsibility, especially not in October, and it's most likely going to come and kind of bite you in the butt if you do so. So don't stick your head out in October, okay? Not gonna turn out good. Next up, we have the Thread, as well as the Bardo. So I do see here that in a sense in the Thread, you understand why this is happening. You understand why the world is in such a conflicting place. And I can see here in the Bardo that to a certain extent, you feel as though you have some solutions, some ways in which you could maybe help others, but there is this worry here that there will be no reciprocity, which I do see in correspondence to Thanatos, the Hanged Man, the Tower, that you are right. That gut feeling that you have of not wanting to put yourself out there, but feeling like, it is the right thing to do. It is what a nice person would do, but still feeling kind of like, I'm not really sure if this is the right thing for me to do, if I should risk myself, my health, my financial security for somebody else. Listen to your gut feeling, okay? When things are going well for you, which they are in October, when it comes to your career, your financial life, stick kind of like a little bit to you, to your closest circle, and don't unnecessarily endanger yourself and your accomplishments for somebody else. Next up, we have the first quarter moon, as well as the last quarter moon. So I do see here in the first quarter moon, just assessing the situation, right? Assessing what you can do in order to help others. Assessing in October, how am I gonna move forward? What's the best way for me to have a successful month, year, life? But I do see here that once you listen to that gut feeling, like I said, not sticking your neck out for a situation that you know may not entail any reciprocity whatsoever. I see that in the end here in the last quarter moon, you have this overwhelming sensation of gratefulness that you didn't make the decision to put yourself in danger unnecessarily, that you didn't compromise your standards for another human being. As I do see in the last quarter moon, that with that gratitude also comes this sense of, okay, so I'm safe and I'm able to help those who I know will reciprocate and who I know will be there for me when I need them as well. So feeling grateful that you kind of stuck to yourself and that you were kind of very heads down, focused on your career, your bag, and your safety. So all my beautiful Libras of the world, we are at the end of your reading. I truly hope that you found it insightful and motivational. Leave a little comment down below to let me know what hit home for you, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful Scorpios of the world, and welcome to your October prediction. So all you need to do right now is lean back, relax, and enjoy while I get into your psychic reading. So I'm starting off with this tarot deck in order to help you figure out what's coming for you. So we have the Ace of Wands, as well as the Six of Cups. So the Ace of Wands is a very exciting occurrence for you, all my beautiful Scorpios. I want you to know that the Ace of Wands comes with an increase in creative energy with ideas. So know if you have been suffering from writer's block, if you have been suffering from feeling as though so much lies beneath the surface, but you're only able to express, you know, the tree, only able to express a little tip of the iceberg. Know in the Ace of Wands that your ideas aren't going to just dissipate, that all of this creative energy isn't just going to result again in a blockage, to be stuck in a writer's block. You're going to be able to express yourself freely and creatively in the most amazing ways. Next up, we have the Father of Pentacles. So the Father of Pentacles, in correspondence to the Ace of Wands as well as the Six of Cups, does stand for somebody who is investing in you. It could be emotionally, it could also be financially. So you having this great idea of how you can move forward in life, create a life that you desire, speaking to somebody who has some experience in it. So for instance, an entrepreneur, or maybe maybe even a close relative, a father figure, and telling them exactly how it is that you plan to move forward and how you plan to create financial freedom, safety, more time for yourself. And I see here in the Father of Pentacles, that person wanting to invest time in you by mentoring you, or actually giving you a loan, actually giving you money to do it. This could also speak of, a business loan that you're getting from a bank, or a loan for a house, just like a bigger purchase. Somebody believing in you is the main thing that's happening here. Next up, we have the Nine of Cups. So in the Nine of Cups, I do see that emotionally speaking, you're in a state where you feel calm, where you feel like things are going well. There's no reason to feel unhappy. There's no reason to feel uneasy about anything, and just overall like a tranquil, kind of chill mood. Next up, we have the Lovers. So I do see here that when it comes to love, there's no reason to stress. There's no reason to fret. Love is going well for you, whether that is you as a single unicorn or you as a unicorn in a relationship. Things are developing as you expect that they would, and they're moving into favorable places. Nothing too crazy is happening, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this is good. This is a sign that I'm closer to my twin flame, or I'm closer to feeling this sense of intense gratitude and happiness in my relationship. Next up, we have the Tear. So in the Tear, I do see here in a sense that there is a little bit of sadness around you. So it could be that somebody very close to you is at a loss of words, or doesn't quite know how to move forward, what to do, and that is something that could affect you negatively. I do see here in correspondence to the Lovers, this would be somebody very close to you, such as a partner, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, just somebody who you share a lot of time and space with. It could also be a parent, it could also be a sister or brother. So do know here in the kiss that in order to help them, just investing time in being with them, investing time in being around them, showing them that you're here for them, not only emotionally but also physically. I see that that can really help mend a broken heart and just a difficult emotional situation for them. So don't underestimate how much power you really have to turn somebody's day around, to turn somebody's entire month around in October. Next up, we have the Blue Moon, which is a really amazing sign, as there is actually a blue moon taking place in October. So you may have not known this, but on Halloween, on the 30th, we have a blue moon happening. We have the occurrence of a blue moon, which is very rare. The blue moon occurs when there are 2 full moons in 1 month, which on the 1st of October is the first full moon that is taking place of the month, and it is called the harvest moon. I do have more readings on October linked down below in the description box, so feel free to check those out. I do have specifically one for the full moon, for the harvest moon, and the blue moon prediction is going to be coming. But anyways, back into your reading. In the blue moon, I want you to expect the unexpected, kind of allow for yourself to be open-minded, as there are some big changes coming for you. I can see here in the hot moon that those changes feel very extreme. They feel very much like something that is pulling you in a completely new direction. So in correspondence to the Ace of Wands, the Father of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups situation that we spoke about first, I do see here that these changes may really surprise you, as it would mean that the future that you pictured for yourself is actually not even possible. There's a completely different future that is taking shape right before your eyes that you're about to walk into. So I do see here, a lot of profound change coming towards you in October, as well as in the Candy Cane Angel, you taking time to treat yourself. So you may do a bit more retail therapy, you may indulge a little bit more in treating yourself with sweet things, or things that just bring up sweet memories and emotions for you. And it's okay, it's time for a treat for you in October. It's time for you to allow yourself to indulge a little bit more than you usually do. Next up, we have the Grumpy Red Fairy. So the Grumpy Red Fairy calls you in all of this to remain true to yourself. So even when you do see that there is potentially a buttload of success coming towards you, a buttload of abundance financially, spiritually, maybe even when it comes to having all of a sudden a lot more time to spend on the things that you want to spend time on, to still remain very humble, to still remain the person who you started this journey as, and to always remember the ones who believed in you and who gave you that push and that confidence, that vote of confidence to move forward with your ideas. So remind yourself in the Grumpy Red Fairy to always stay true to yourself no matter what you do, and also to not compromise who you are just because somebody is offering help and they think that you should do something a different way. Be true to your personality, to your integrity. So all my beautiful Scorpios, I hope that you enjoyed your reading and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you. I truly enjoyed sharing this sacred space with you today, and I can't wait to catch you in another video. Hello all my beautiful Sagittarius babies of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading as I get straight into it. So what do we have first and foremost? We have the threshold. So one thing that I can see here in the threshold is the fact that October is like the last little step of the cycle that you're currently in. And after that, you have to step into something completely new. So it may feel like October is filled with very intense energy for you, with energy that makes you want to do some impulsive things. Let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what your guides are trying to communicate to you in correspondence to that. We have the father as well as the orphan. So you're being called here to make decisions in a more thoughtful way, okay, and to not be so impulsive or even downright reckless, because one thing that I do see here in the threshold is that on an emotional level, it's a pretty intense month for you. You do feel like there's a lot happening, and you do feel like you're going towards this profound change and moving into a new cycle after October, where I see here in the father that you're being called to be a little bit stern with yourself and to be very honest with yourself as to why you do things the way that you do, what your motives are. I see here in the orphan that there is this sort of imbalance. So on one hand, you have this type of fatherly energy, this parental energy towards yourself, where you want to hold yourself accountable. And then on the other hand, we have this orphan type of energy where you want to be reckless and free and do things as you please without thinking of the future, without asking yourself, what would my parent advise me to do? What would somebody who is older and wiser than me tell me to do in this situation? So I do see in a way a little bit of energy here that can be rebellious coming towards you in October, but that's fine. We're all going through crazy things, as there are 2 full moons taking place in October, a blue moon on the 30th and a harvest moon on the 1st. Links down below for more October readings in case you're interested. Next up, we have the Grumpy Red Fairy. So in the Grumpy Red Fairy, I do see here that nevertheless, you are being called to be true to yourself and to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you have to be inauthentic and that is causing you to rebel. So for instance, if in your workplace you feel as though the work ethic that is being shown, that is being displayed, is absolutely not what you believe in personally. For instance, if the work environment that you're in is very cutthroat or competitive to a degree that you feel is not healthy, to instead of trying to change the whole system, be true to yourself and move into a company that you believe in. The same goes for the purchases that you make in October. Instead of getting grumpy or mad at the fact that people, for instance, are committing to deforestation of the Amazon, of the lungs of the planet, instead of being highly upset about the fact that people are committing to deforestation of beautiful islands such as Borneo just to plant palm trees, instead of getting mad and grumpy about it, how about just stick to your guns by voting with your dollars, which seems to be the only language that anybody understands these days, and boycotting anybody who is committing such radical acts of destruction on this planet that you don't agree with, especially when it's not necessary for our survival or our well-being. Next up, we have the 3 witchy sisters. So in the 3 witchy sisters, I do see here that all things are 3 for you in October. So all good things come in 3s. You may see the number 3 quite often. So 3:33 p.m., 333, 33, just threes a lot, okay? I see that when it comes to numerology, those are the numbers that stand out for you and have kind of like a symbolic meaning. Next up, we have the Violet Duchess. So I do see here that when that number comes up, you may be in a place where you feel a little bit stuck, where you may feel a little bit like you're in a very challenging position. So I do see here in the Violet Duchess that that's where you have to be a little bit careful that you're not putting yourself into a bit of a victim mode, that you're not putting yourself into a place that is less positive than it possibly could be. Because as a Sagittarius, you're somebody who is very optimistic, especially in correspondence to other people and their ventures. So use that same energy for yourself. What's stopping you? Why aren't you doing the same for you? Next up, we have the Fairy of the Divine Hand. I see here in the Fairy of the Divine Hand that it's important for you to find moderation when it comes to any type of emotion that is intoxicating, especially in a negative way, and find instead a way how you can balance those emotions out by being kinder to yourself and allowing yourself to indulge a little bit in the things that you love that are maybe a little bit unhealthy. So it could be unhealthy foods, it could be, you know, just having a little bit of fun, drinking a little bit more than you usually would, or having some caffeine, just overall not making yourself miserable or the victim unnecessarily, but instead doing everything mindfully and in moderation. Next up, we have the Snow Moon. So I do see here in the Snow Moon that in a sense purity is something that is of importance to you during the month of October, so that people have pure intentions and that you feel like people are sincere. I see that anybody who you feel is insincere, you're very sensitive towards that and you're going to call them on their bluff and call them on their BS. So any apologies here on YouTube or anywhere else on the internet that you feel is insincere, anybody trying to excuse really mean, crappy behavior, you're not here for it, you don't believe it. You may even leave a little comment in the comment section letting others know that you think it is insincere and just absolutely not true. And next up, we have the Waning Crescent 1. I see in a sense this feeling of protection. So because you may have never really felt like you were all that protected by friends, family, and you feel as though that has had its repercussions on your life nowadays, I do see here in the Waning Crescent 1 that you put a lot of emphasis on protecting those who can't protect themselves. So it could be animals, it could be the rainforest, it could be just other living beings around you who you know are not in a position to protect themselves against those who might want to take advantage of them. And again, it's something that you're very sensitive towards. It's something where you stand up for the underdog, you stand up for those in need, and you're not going to sit there and watch while somebody gets bullied and put down. And no, you're the type to step in and do something about it. So I do see that coming out a whole lot, which may be that you're experiencing a lot of injustice that you're seeing from your seated position in October, and you want to do something against it, about it. Next up, we have the Three of Wands. So in the Three of Wands, I see here in a sense a portal opening for you to creatively be able to produce more results in your life that are favorable, that are fun. So having great ideas on how you can protect people, protect endangered species, protect society from all of the dangers that are out there, which is kind of funny because the biggest danger is us, right? The biggest threat to humanity and animals is just other humans. We're our biggest threat. So I do see here in the Three of Wands that in a sense you're trying to pipe things down from overindulging too much in consumerism, overindulging too much in things that are affecting the environment negatively, but instead finding ways to amp up brands and just people who are aware, people who are quote unquote woke, okay, and to give them a bit of a stronger voice. So we have a very humanitarian month coming up for you. Next up, we have the Three of Swords. So in the Three of Swords, I do see here that emotionally, when it comes to love, you are feeling a little bit down. You are feeling a little bit like things just aren't quite going your way. Now, as a Sagittarius, being very optimistic and freedom loving. This may also have to do with the fact that you don't want to give up your freedom, that you don't want to commit, or that you just overall feel as though you've given up a lot and somebody else is not really doing the same. So that is where I do see here in the Three of Swords that you can feel a little bit constricted, a little bit emotional in a way that kind of sparks unease, if you will. But overall, all of my beautiful Sagittariuses, I do want you to know that this month is a very important month for you, as you are just standing at the threshold of moving into a next cycle. So do know that certain situations you have already sucked all of the opportunity out of it that you can, and it is in a way, in a sense, a month where you're being called to regenerate, revitalize, as there's a lot of new stuff coming for you in November, December, of course, 2021. So right now is really more a time for you to take time for you to relax, to recuperate, and to do so without any type of guilty conscience or feeling like you're not doing enough. So all my beautiful little Sagittariuses of the world, I truly do hope that you found this reading insightful and that you feel like you're now better prepared for October. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you're staying safe, and I'll catch you in another video. Hello, all my beautiful little Capricorns of the world, and welcome to your reading. So I'm gonna get straight into it to figure out exactly what's coming towards you in October of 2020, and all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy. So first and foremost, we have the heart. So one thing that I can see here is that something is tugging at your heartstrings, okay? Your heart is thoroughly involved in the month of October, and we're about to figure out exactly how. We have the threshold. So I do see here in the threshold that in a way your heart is being involved because you know that you have to make that next step. You know that you have to come to the edge and jump and take the leap of faith. You can no longer remain where you are, all my beautiful Capricorns. You have to move into this new space, and it can be difficult because you can feel as though things aren't really how they need to be. You're not ready enough to reach out to that person or to move into this new job, into this new opportunity that is presenting itself. But let me tell you something, okay? The situation will never be perfect. Things will never be in a way that it's comfortable to take a leap of faith, so you may as well just do it. The worst thing that can happen is that you receive a no as an answer. Next up, we have the nectar. So I do see that regardless of what is going on with the opportunities in your life and how you feel about them, any type of anxiety that you're dealing with, I see here in the nectar that you're kind of really attractive. You know what I mean, all my beautiful little Capricorns. You are having a very strong glow up during October. You're in a space where a lot of other signs find you to be irresistible. A lot of other signs find you to be, in a way, very attractive on an energetic level. And I do see here in the nectar that being in a situation where you can choose romantically can be, again, very hard, right? Where you're torn between maybe being with somebody who you already know or taking a leap with somebody completely new, or you know that the person who you truly love, who's truly got your heart, is still out there and you kind of want to reach out to them. So that is one thing that I see that can be a little bit difficult, especially when you feel like everything is going great in love. Why can't it just go great with this person? Next up, we have the last quarter moon. So in the last quarter moon, I see that nevertheless, you are so grateful for all of the blessings that are coming towards you in October and everything that you've been able to experience in this earthly realm and in correspondence to love. So there's no bad blood there. There are no negative emotions, just gratitude all the way. Next up, we have the super moon. So the super moon shows that you're attracting something. You're kind of pulling something energetically to you. So all of my Capricorns, I do want you to know that you have attracted the beginning of this new cycle into your life. So know that it's meant to be. Know that when you're standing on the edge, on this threshold, and you know you have to make a choice, you know you have to take the leap, that you attracted this into your life. This is all because of the actions that you have put in place that has set this in motion, and it can't be stopped. So it's important for you to understand that the longer you remain complacent and you don't take leaps that you need to, you're basically just wasting time. You're basically just trying to postpone the inevitable. So you might as well just allow it to happen. You might as well just allow it to take place and do what you need to do. Sever ties where ties need to be severed. Reach out to the person that you're in love with, who may not even know that you exist, because the longer that you wait, the more time passes by and the more you may feel as though, oh, I really should have. That's the one that got away. Next up, we have the moon. So the moon speaks of your intuition. The moon speaks of everything that goes on subconsciously that you're not really noticing on the surface. So I do want you to know here in the moon that in correspondence to these strong celestial events that are taking place, because we have a harvest moon on the 1st of October as well as a blue moon on the 30th. So we have 2 full moons during the month of October. This can be very much a restless time. This can be a time where you feel as though you're not sleeping very well and subconsciously there's a lot going on, but you don't know what's going on. That is where I see here in the Mother of Swords that it would be great for you to consult somebody who is very mature, maybe older than you, maybe even a mother type figure, who is smart to you, who you look up to for not only their strength emotionally, but also just how intelligent they've been to create the life that they're living and leading now, and ask them for advice. As I can see here in the 3 of Wands, that they will have some excellent pieces of information to share with you that will allow you to walk through this portal that is filled with color, where everything else is just black and white, and open new opportunities to you. So they have really great advice that can help you moving forward, that can give you kind of epiphanies and a light at the end of the tunnel. Then we have the World. So all my beautiful Capricorns, this is basically the most favorable card of the tarot. The World speaks of completion, speaks of absolute happiness and gratitude. So do know that this month is still a lot more favorable for you than it is for a lot of other signs. So be excited and happy about this being the case, and know here in the World that allowing for others to give you advice, openly receiving it and implementing it, especially from this Mother of Swords person, from this person who has a lot of air sign within their chart, who has a lot of this air sign energy that is not only intellectually very strong, academically strong, but also street smart. That is what is going to help you move into the world. Next up, we have the Journey, which is all about using your imagination in order to help yourself feel more secure. So instead of allowing your imagination to just run wild and do whatever it wants to do, make sure that you hold on tightly to that imagination, and that you tell your imagination, hey, we're only going to be looking at positives. We're only going to be looking at possibilities, at options that can bring positive change, rather than, you know, imagining worst case scenarios. So that is where you really kind of need to constrict your imagination in a way and limit it to only thoughts of light instead of having any darkness. Next up, we have the Dream Weaver. So I do see that the more attention you pay towards your mental space and your thoughts, the more you will be able to control also your dreams and this restlessness that may occur during the month of October because of these strong celestial events and powers that are coming from the lunar realm. So I do want you to know here in the Dream Weaver that taking control of your sleep pattern and schedule is going to feel like it's the best thing you've ever done for yourself. It's going to put you so much more at ease. It's going to give you more clarity in your decision making and just overall make life a lot easier. So make sure that you are really pampering yourself, that you create a routine, a before bedtime routine that you do every night, and that makes you feel good about yourself, as I do see that that is a big part of you feeling happy, grateful, and like there are things to celebrate in your life. Like, despite all of the craziness going on in the world, you have the world. The world is your oyster, and you understand how fortunate that you really are. So all my beautiful Capricorns, I truly hope that you found your reading insightful and that you enjoyed this reading and it gave you clarity. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I can't wait to see you in another video. Hello all my beautiful little Aquariuses of the world, and welcome to your October 2020 prediction. So all you need to do is lean back, relax, and enjoy while I receive these divine messages for your sign. So we have two cards that clearly want to speak for your October prediction. We have the Medallion as well as the Storm. So one thing that I can see here is that things feel kind of a little bit uneasy and stormy in a way in October. It feels like there's a lot going on, but I can see here in the Medallion that nevertheless you're getting exactly what you want with something that is very important to you. So it could be, for instance, getting an answer on whether you've passed a test, an examination or not, whether you're able to finally move into your dream home, or you're getting that promotion. I see here in the Medallion that you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and despite any type of challenges, you are still going to receive the clarity and the answers that you have been looking for. Then we have Apocalypsis, which just kind of ties in really nicely with the Storm. So while everything seems to be going in a very crazy direction, in a direction that is uncertain, I see here in the Medallion that your focus never sways, your focus never wavers, and that is exactly what propels you towards success. So move even further into your Aquarius ways of sometimes maybe being a little bit emotionally distant, as that is really your savior for October while everybody else is kind of drowning in the weather. Next up, we have the Waxing Gibbous 3. I do see here in the Waxing Gibbous 3 that it is essential for you to set some healthy boundaries in order to ensure that nobody brings their negativity around you. Not you, my Aquarius friends. That is not where that belongs, and you are very clearly drawing some lines in the sand and making sure that you're keeping those energy vampires out, because you realize that even you only have a finite amount of energy, a finite amount of, how should I say, nerve that you are able to give, a finite amount of F's that you're able to give. And if you're putting that towards a situation that doesn't serve you, your goals, or any of your aspirations, well then you're making a big mistake, which is where I can see here in the Waxing Gibbous 3, you know that drawing those lines and creating boundaries is so important during the month of October. Next up, we have the Waxing Gibbous 5, which speaks of focus, which is exactly what we were talking about earlier in you keeping your eye on the prize, just like here in the Medallion. I do see here in the Waxing Gibbous 5 that having this laser sharp focus is something that you're used to and something that you're able to kind of use to your advantage more than ever during the month of October. So where other people may be really scattered, really all over the place, you are able to keep your focus to remain present and mindful of what is going on around you. We have the Ghost in the Pumpkin Patch that just popped right out of the pile. I see here the Ghost in the Pumpkin Patch corresponds in numerology to the number 1, which is a very interesting number because it is a number that speaks of you taking the time to initiate something, taking the time to put in action towards your goals, towards what it is that you desire, but it can also be an indication of a fresh beginning, of a fresh start. So do know here in the Ghost of the Pumpkin Patch that starting in this place, in this new place, after you've received exactly what it is that you wanted, after you have accomplished that next goal, may feel a little bit scary and a little bit intimidating, but that's where you're supposed to just take your focus and kind of put it back onto that next goal, kind of put it back onto, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish as something that has true meaning to me? What is it that I want to set my sight on next? Think about that. Maybe write it down, journal it in order to not have any lack of clarity, as focus is really important for you, all my Aquariuses. Next up, we have the Pink Lotus Fairy. So in the Pink Lotus Fairy, I see that October is a time for your spirit guides. It is a time for you to feel divinely guided. Now that may be because there are some grand celestial events taking place. We do have 2 full moons that are coming towards us in October, the first one being on October 1st, which I do have a reading for down below, as well as a love prediction for October linked in the description box. The second full moon is taking place On October 30th, that full moon is also called the blue moon. It's happening on Halloween. So the energy is very different, if you will. It's very supercharged in October, which is why in the Pink Lotus Fairy, you may feel so inclined to connect with your guides, maybe tune into a few more readings, a few more videos about spirituality, maybe even watch more documentaries and engage in a practice that you do, such as yoga, meditation. It can really work wonders for dealing with stressful situations. I'm just coming from a place of experience and from myself really loving spending time in my practices. Next up, we have the Violet Angel. So in the Violet Angel, I definitely do see here that in a way, you're fighting against the storm. You're fighting against this apocalypse of change and just dark stuff that's happening around you. So in a sense, you're really like the only light around. You're really like the only person who is still going, who is still strong, who still has things going for them. And it may sometimes feel like a very lonely place. And it can sometimes make you feel like, oh, okay, so because I'm emotionally sometimes a little bit distant, a little bit hard to read or unavailable, I'm kind of like the last man standing. It's almost like natural selection left the Aquarius to be the survivor. And I do want you to know here that because it can be such a lonely place, especially when everybody else is struggling, for you to still be focused, still be the light, it can sometimes come with a burden. It can sometimes come with this feeling of feeling like you're being judged, feeling like you're being sign shamed, okay? But don't allow yourself to fall into that or to feel as though, oh, I have to now do shadow work and figure out the parts of myself that I'm not happy with in order to align myself with the storm, with everything that's going on around me. Don't do that. Be the light, remain the light, be in this position that you're in that is fortunate, enjoy it. Everybody has their turn. Other people are often in positions where they are more fortunate and you just allow them to do their thing and shine. So allow yourself to do the same right now and throughout October. Next up, we have the Two of Pentacles. So in the Two of Pentacles, I do see here being kind of in a way torn and feeling like there's never enough time for friends, family, and your work. So just overall, being a little bit tired, feeling a little bit overworked and needing that balance. So maybe if you can, get out your itinerary, your schedule right now, book and schedule a little weekend for yourself in. It could be a weekend that you spend in a spa. It could be a weekend that you spend at home. Actually, maybe a spa is not the best place to go right now because, you know, bacteria, warmth, and all of that, not a good combo. But you know what I mean? A nature getaway, just time to be by yourself, doing the things that you want to do, finding balance. Next up, we have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords speaks of you having a lot of, we have the Sun of Pentacles that wants to speak in correspondence to the Four of Swords. So together, I do see here with the Sun of Pentacles and the Four of Swords that in a way you're very headstrong about what needs to be done in order to hit your financial goals and targets. And you're not going to allow anybody to tell you what to do. You know exactly what it takes. You know exactly what you need to do. And in a way, there is no compromise there. In a way, you're not going to allow anybody to have any influence on how you do things financially, how you do things in your job. I see here in the Father of Swords that you may speak very directly, maybe even in a way that could hurt somebody else's feelings in order to get your way when it comes to your bag, when it comes to your career. And I do want you to know here that this is sometimes needed, and sometimes you just have to be assertive, put your foot down and say what it is that you want, what it is that you will put up with, and what you're absolutely not going to put up with. So I see very strong, independent Aquarius energy that is amplified. Move into it, Aquarius. I do want you to know here that you have this power that other people are maybe lacking during this time. And instead of feeling bad about it, instead of feeling almost like, oh, like maybe I should tone it down, no, take advantage of it and know that you're setting yourself up for when times get rough for you. So all my dear Aquariuses, I truly hope that you found your reading insightful and that it gave you motivation. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I can't wait to see you in another video. Hello all my beautiful little Pisces of the world, and welcome to your October prediction. So I'm going to get straight into it with this tarot deck, and I just want you to lean back, relax, and enjoy your reading. So first and foremost, we have the Seven of Wands. In the Seven of Wands, I see you having a lot of cool ideas, having had a lot of cool creative ideas on what you want to do next, what you want to pour your heart and soul into next, but I see that one trumps all of them, okay? So one stands out the most, and that is exactly what you're going to lean into. Whatever it is that sparks the most joy and just makes you feel really connected to other people as well as your soul. Next up, we have the Father of Swords. So I do see here that you're not playing, my dear Pisces, okay? So usually you may be a little bit more of somebody who is a loner, somebody who's an introvert, somebody who is careful not to hurt other people's feelings, but the Father of Swords, I see that you did not come to play. Anybody who gets in your way is gonna get a little piece of your mind. So we have a very spicy month coming for you, all my Pisces, a very unusual month, and it may have to do with the fact that we do have two full moons that are taking place during October. So the first one on October 1st, and then the second one, the blue moon, on October 30th. The first one is called the harvest moon, which happening on October 1st. So I do have readings for that, as well as love predictions. They're linked down below, all October related. So I do see here that because of these celestial events and how you connect to them as a water sign, it may just bring out a side of you that nobody is really used to. Next up, we have the Five of Wands. So I do see in the Five of Wands that this can cause a little bit of inner friction, a little bit of inner disturbance, if you will, because you feel as though like, oh, in a way, you like this new you like the fact that you're very direct, very out there, but at the same time, your old Pisces ways of caring almost more about other people than you care about yourself, those are just creeping forth and making you feel a little bit bad for any actions or words that you may have said that are not completely in line with who you usually are. I see here in the Chariot that trying to steer everything in the same direction, trying to not compromise your integrity, but at the same time, stay focused on moving everything into the same down the same path is something that you're maybe struggling with. So like the Chariot suggests, it's very important for you in times where things are moving very quickly to remind yourself of why you're being called to steer everything into one direction in order to make sure that you're sending out a concise message when it comes to what you're doing in life, what you stand for. Next up, we have the Five of Pentacles. So I do see here in the Five of Pentacles that in a way financially you feel a little bit limp, you feel a little bit like, oh, things aren't really where I wanted them to be by now at this point of the year. You may feel a little bit pressured because at the beginning of the year you set such goals for yourself financially in the earthly realms that you maybe haven't been able to reach just yet, but remind yourself that a lot of us are going through that. So we had quite a few cards here that wanted to speak in your reading. Let's talk about those. We have Death, we have the Six of Wands, we have the Magician, as well as the Daughter of Swords. So I do see here the Daughter of Swords in correspondence to the Father of Swords. This is air sign energy. This is energy that is all about communication. It's trying to kind of tug a little bit on your heartstrings and for you to be a little bit more gentle with your words and the spicy kind of energy that you have during October. So the Daughter of Swords is kind of like talking to the Father of Swords, like, hey, Daddy, can you like be a little bit kinder? Can you maybe choose your words in a way that won't hurt other people? So to some degree, the Daughter of Swords can be a little bit naive, especially when it comes to business discussions where you have to be assertive and be very clear of what it is that you desire. But in the same way, there's also a lot of wisdom in, you know, a younger voice, a voice that can see things from a place that is kind of untouched, if you will. Then I do see here in the Death card that October feels like something completely different. It feels as though, as I can see here in the Six of Wands, it feels as though the darkness has come to a place where you can now see light, and maybe you're just kind of acting out of character because you know that things are changing. You know that certain things have just come to an end. You have to let go of any hope that you have there. For instance, hope of life ever returning back to what it was before 2020, what it was prior to that, and understanding here in the Magician that the best thing that you can do is really just to make the most out of everything that you've been given, and to remind yourself that just because things are different doesn't mean that they have to be different in a negative or bad way, but instead to trust in the opportunities and to trust in your abilities to turn things around, to turn things into greatness. Next up, we have the threshold. So I see here that this threshold is very much something that occupies your mind quite a bit, all my Pisces. I see here that this threshold may have to do with the year nearing its end and understanding like, wow, I'm kind of not ready to move into the next year, not knowing whether the next year is going to be awesome or potentially just like 2020 or even worse than 2020. I do see here a lot of apprehensive energy coming towards you during the end of this year. I see here in the fear that, you know, there are these legitimate fears that you have of things not getting better, of the situation not lightening up, of feeling as though you're missing out on your youth, you're missing out on life, and it's hard for you to want to even move into the next year, not having this promise already made to you that next year is going to be better, which of course nobody can make that promise to us, but sometimes we hope for a sign. We still wish as though the universe could promise us, look, this is going to be a great time. Don't be afraid to step over the threshold. Next up, we have the waning gibbous 3. So I do see here in the waning gibbous 3 that October is a month that is going to leave you feeling in a way as though you have to balance things a little bit better. You have to balance this very spicy energy, this very direct energy with who you truly are, and just find a good like middle ground, a good middle path where you are empowered and not say a pushover, but at the same time you let your emotional side and your empathetic side come out when it makes sense and when it's helpful to the situation, and with people who are going to appreciate it, not those who will just take advantage of it. Next up, we have the last quarter moon. So I do see here that nevertheless you are grateful. Nevertheless, you're grateful that you've been a part of this very historic time, of this time in humanity's existence that is so different, so unlikely than anything anyone has ever experienced. And I do see here in gratitude that you're grateful for the fact that you're able to sit here, to watch this video, to be able to speak from a place where you're still here, you're still alive, you're still one of those fortunate people who have time in this earthly plane to not only experience life, but to also just express gratitude, not towards yourself only, but also towards life for others, towards this planet, towards other living beings. And next up, we have I am Kali. So I do see here in I am Kali that you still have this fighter energy within you that speaks of the fact that when there's death, there is also a chance for rebirth, right? From death comes rebirth. Understanding that maybe a certain mentality in humanity, in our human race, had to be challenged, had to be put to the test in order for it to be gone, in order for it to die down, in order for us to be able to realize that we are causing a lot of harm to this planet, to other people, to other living beings, and we really need to smarten up. We really need to get to a place of more compassion. So I do feel here in I am Kali, as well as the death card, that nevertheless, even though things may have not been perfect in 2020 for you, you understand that it was most likely a much needed phase in life. Next up, we have the winged seer. So the winged seer is all about this clairvoyance. Now, clairvoyance is when you see clearly, but clairvoyance can also be a kind of psychic power where you can see things ahead of time, where you can see what's coming next in a way that is connected to the universe, that is interconnected with the cosmos. So you may experience in October, alongside these very powerful celestial events that we have coming, you know, the 2 full moons, that you have this type of clairvoyant energy, or that you're discovering your psychic powers, and that it allows you to see why certain things happen, the reasoning behind it, a lot more clearly and a lot more objectively than you usually would. So this is a very intense but also enlightening time that's coming towards you all, my dear Pisces. So we are at the end of your reading. I really hope that you found it insightful as well as motivational. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I'll see you in another video.